Masculine pose. Self respect is very difficult for most men. Self respect. Because you may mentally understand that you need to respect yourself. And me saying it, you might say, yeah, you're right. Self respect is important. But it's difficult for most men because most men tend to feel like if I don't have this girl, I don't have anybody else. Because I learned that victory comes after a grind. If you're running a race, especially a long distance race, there's periods of time when you got some stitches in your stomach, you know, you feel like you can't do it, your legs are heavy, you are tired. That's self-respect. And when you get to the finish line, that's when you get the value of what you deserve after the self-respect. Simping is when somehow you're allowed to run that race without those pains. So whenever a girl comes along, you simp along and you play foolish games and entertain and give in and basically, what does my Nigerian friend say? A mumu. I like that word, mumu. Basically, you're not valuing yourself. You're so in love with the feeling of love or the affection that you allow the girl to disrespect you. Because self-respect says, imagine you planned a dinner. Okay, you planned a dinner. Girl shows up and she's looking really good, and you're like, man, and this is your first date, and she says some really mean or hurtful things. Self-respect says, you know what? We're not going to continue this date. We're done. You can go back home now. That's self-respect. But a foolish man who wants to, because he wants to hit, he'll spend the money, do all the romantic gestures, even though he knows that his respect has been hit. He knows that his respect has been hit. And he knows that she did it on purpose because that's how she moves, because she sees herself as beautiful. And even if the man's got a whole lot of money, he's allowing for that because he's valuing the coochie more than the self-respect. It's hard because with self-respect, if you cut that girl off, you don't have the backup, right? You might step into the void now of nothing there, and then you have to stand on your ground, of aloneness and loneliness. So self-respect is not easy. So men that can move and cut off women and walk away, they are the foundation of a community because they can show to the community, hey, if this is out of line, you say no. But the majority of men cannot do that. They're simps. Simping is it exploits a man's desire for sexual intimacy, and also the programming of the culture. So the girl can disrespect you on purpose, and you'll be allowing because you're like, oh, we're here now. But self-respect goes against that. It says, you know what? No, 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 no. We don't do that. So self-respect is very, very difficult. And men that engage in self-respect, I salute them because it's very difficult. And most men will not attain that. Most men will present that that's how they move, but it's very difficult to do that because oftentimes the disrespect will come from those girls that you really, really, really want. You really desire. They'll do you the, I'm not saying if a girl does something wrong, you should be cutting things off, but you have to, just like a child. You may love your child is gorgeous. You go into the shop, you say, don't touch anything, and they're just going to pull out some stuff off the shelf and drop it to the ground. They're testing your capacity, your limits. But if you respect yourself, you're going to do what's necessary. Back in the day, I grew up with some whooping. So you're going to say, no, 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 no. We're not getting you anything. But you don't go proceed and buy the child everything that they wanted. You got to show them. So self-respect is a man that moves with self-respect. First of all, he has to be willing to be alone and lonely for a period of time. Because you don't get quality women until you've been through some things. Unless there's some lucky man who just somehow stumbled upon some high school sweetheart and they rode into the sunset type of thing. But self-respect comes at a price. And you have to repeat the process because you're going to constantly be tested sometimes by the same individual. Sometimes it can be corrected. Sometimes it got to be let go. And a lot of men are not willing to do it because they're like, what if this is the best I ever had?